Good evening. Thank you all for joining us on a Saturday evening for this wonderful journey that we all are going to start together, real to real. So before I any further ado, I would like they said in The Godfather, I would like to make you an offer that you can't refuse. I am now about to call upon someone who's actually done his BTech from IIT Bombay and MS in quantum physics from University of Chicago, Illinois. He worked at ARC India, and then he decided to take residence and become a permanent monk at ISKCON. Not only that, he's a life coach, an inspirational speaker, spoken on various topics at various prestigious places. To name a few, NYU, Yale, Coca-Cola, TEDx, the list goes on. But today, he has taken out his time to just join us and help us understand life and the meaning of life in a fun manner. So before taking up more time, I'd like to call upon Braj Mohan. Prabhuji, if you could please join us in with your presence.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Pavani, for inviting me for this very innovative and interesting topic. Should I start, or do you want to ask any questions about what's this all?
I would like to start by asking you, what is this? What is this real to real wisdom that you the journey you plan to take us on? What is it?
Let me share my journey to spirituality because it has a lot to do with this topic. When I was in my first year of BTech at IIT, there was the Tech Fest, one of the global technological festivals. So there, this movie Matrix was screened, premiered for the first time, and honestly, it was a bouncer. Just like right now, Tenet is a bouncer for so many. So at that time, Matrix was a bouncer, but it really started to bring out a lot of questions in me. And later, when one of the devotees explained to me the whole movie Matrix from the Bhagavad Gita, two things became clear to me. One is the movie, another is the Gita, because it was through the context and the analogies of the movie. And the third thing was how I myself maybe partly like Neo, who is questioning the reality, and the whole that quest for deeper questions, deeper quest started with that movie that sparked that interest in me. And this is what we see, that movies are mass communicators, that they convey a message very strongly if they are well made. And many of the societal changes that we see, either positively or negatively, is influenced by the movies. And movies are not something new. In the olden times, there was the dramas, there was the cultural presentations of a message, and nowadays there is the road show, that you just street show that people just gather to display something. And so I've been seeing that how the movies are trying to convey a message, but many a times the problem of the issue, the concern, the human challenges that we all face is very well portrayed. And without that portrayal of human challenges, human issues, the movie will never connect to people. But along with that, they also try to offer a solution. But because there is not enough wisdom maybe that's present there, or the outlook may not be the same way. I was fortunate to come in contact with the Bhagavad Gita and have that fresh outlook. And so almost every time I talk about movies to anyone, the first question people ask is, Prabhuji, you are a monk. Do monk watch movies? And then I say, the last movie I ever watched in a theater was maybe in 2004, and after that maybe never. And then but when it comes to movies that really influence people, then I do take an interest, and then I do watch if there is a positive message and try to connect the message. And the New York Times did a study about how do you know what's on people's mind, what are the different issues that people are facing. That's one of the main things. One is of course what goes viral on social media. Another is what's the subject that's being discussed in the movies. And what's on people's mind is often is taken as a cue for, well, most movies are made for money, but because that's the selling factor, then that's discussed. But as I said, the solutions are not given fully, or the clarity of vision is not there. So therefore I thought that in these sessions, let's try to take some wisdom from our ancient scriptures in the context of the movies that have been in the past or currently. And because people are interested definitely in movies, and we can't just remove that aspect from people's lives. So why not be there and speak through that. So
Yeah.
that's the whole motive.
So that's so interesting, Prabhuji, and to hear that, I mean, your entry into your spiritual life was through a movie, one of the entries maybe. So that's very interesting, and especially for our generation today, where everything like in Netflix, the binge watching generation. And I don't think only our generation, even our parents' generation now have got that. That was like there was this sitcom that's called Friends, in which the characters basically don't have culture. So where they what is the what I mean, people have what is their culture point of view. So it's become such a big part of our lives, and like you rightly pointed out, that if the topic that is being spoken all the time is what is happening. So this is a very interesting, if you take it forward for I think for people to relate to the Gita and the Guru of life, and not feel so bad that we are watching movies and not being unproductive. So thank you so much for coming up with this and actually taking us through this virtual meeting without your time. But I'd like to ask you, how exactly would we be going about this? Like, how exactly do you go about this, and how exactly would we be helping you to help us?
Okay. First of all, I'd just like to take the whole concept of life. In life is said to be like a movie where we are living through the movie, and just like in any movie there is suspense, what's going to happen next. All of us experience that element of suspense in our life. And like the recent movie that was I think Oscar winner, The Joker, most of us because we don't learn the lessons properly, or the mind has overcome our self, we tend to we often go into the genre of tragedy. And for some, the genre of their life's movie may be tragedy, and for some it's all about action. It's life for them is an action movie that constantly you are the hero of your life or heroine of your life, and you have to keep achieving. And for others it's kind of a thriller. They need constantly a thriller, some kind of risk that they take. And the same kind of experiences that we trying to get in our life, the same concepts, the same things are portrayed through the movies. And if we actually learn that what am I really looking for, because one thing that happens is that no one's life is your life. Everyone is on a unique journey, And one of the downsides to watching others do their activities either in real life or in real life is that we start to compare ourselves in terms of the beauty, in terms of the power, in terms of the charisma, in terms of the finance, and we start to see, hey, life is such a glorious for that person. I usually give this example. Say somebody, a villager, he goes to the movie theater in his old bicycle, and then when he sits in the movie and he sees this grand life that is being shown, larger than life, somebody is like having multiple partners and is going places on helicopters or beautiful places to visit, and that kind of he starts to compare with that, and he was quite content in his village life before watching this, but when he comes out he starts to compare that, hey, my life is not that great. And that's also another effect of the social media that is happening currently, that when we see someone maybe in Mauritius or say at a restaurant having a nice pizza, then as we are eating our roti, before watching that post on Instagram, we were happy with that roti and sabji, but then that comparison mentality that hey, it seems to be that I'm not enjoying my life starts to creep in. And so that's one downside of watching others do, but there is an upside to it, that you can learn from others, you can feel inspired from others, and so therefore, like a movie can be in different genres, it's our choice, and there is one category of movies that's called as interactive movies. I don't know if you know about it. Have you ever heard, Pavani, about interactive movies?
I don't think. Maybe if you explain, I might know, but I've not heard this term.
So this used to happen in the operas, in the drama theaters before, that the plot of the movie is not fixed. Usually the plot, the script, the whole movie is drama is fixed, but in interactive movies the plot is not fixed. The show starts, the scene one ends, and then the actor is in a dilemma, which choice to take. Should I take choice 1 or choice 2? And then the director comes on the stage, it's all darked out, and then he asks the audience which choice should he take, and then there is a poll, and whoever gets the majority, then the plot goes in that direction. And recently even on Netflix there are some movies that are interactive movies where it's not pre-decided, the script is not pre-decided. Of course, in a larger sense, all kinds of options are worked out, there is almost all scenes are covered, but it's to the actor to choose at different points in life that which way should do I want my movie to go. And I see that our life is very much like that not everything that happens in our life is in our control, but there are junctions where we do need to choose, and based on the choices we make, either we meet a dead end or we meet a place where we are happy to be there. So therefore the positive aspects of movies is, one is they provide entertainment. We all need to have a break from our routines, and even in the Gita, Krishna explains about this, that we need to have vihara, some kind of recreation, something that is uplifting. That they'll also come to the negative side, and the movies have also been a big source of economics for many countries, many communities. Produce a lot of revenue, and movies have been also to express the different cultures that people have. So many of the cultures that we know about is through movies. Like when I visit United States, most NRI kids there, most people there, they only know about India through Bollywood, and they think what's portrayed in Bollywood is India. Sometimes some really corrupt societies, or sometimes everything is smooth and beautiful and everybody is very cooperative. So the expression of culture is also through dramas, through movies that happens. And movies also give education, that you learn, like there are these documentaries, or recently the social dilemma. So we also learn through a portrayal of the concept, and visually seeing something is much more easier for us to understand than actually read and understand. Of course, there is a downside to it, that our brain doesn't really work hard to connect the different aspects. So if somebody is just trying to learn visually and not involve himself through reading, then also his analytical capacities go down. But otherwise, to convey something, I remember long back there was something about the whole 9/11 that happened. Now there are something like 9,000 pages of books that are about the whole 9/11 thing. But if you just watch United, I think UA 321, that was a movie. What happened with the United Airlines flight that hit the second tower. So the whole message is the information, education is very well passed on about some historic thing. I think almost all of us knew the intensity of struggle that went through the people of that were on Titanic was only through the movie, or maybe what Gandhi faced through, the kind of prejudice, the kind of struggle that he faced through, only through the movies. So even education of our history happens through movies. And finally, the most important one is also the evolution of consciousness, the upgradation of values is also a very important way by which values are imparted and emphasized. There was that movie some years back called as A Day After Tomorrow, which talked about the climate change, how when the our polar ice melts, then there can be a heavy destruction. And once people saw that, it really came to their senses what really can happen in the future. And there's so much emphasis on environment in different corporate sectors, in different countries, happened because of movies like this. And even United States, they constantly emphasize to make movies about patriotism, to inspire people to come to protect the nation. And recently, the many movies that even in India that are being made with the same motivation. And so these 5 E's are something that's positive about the movie, something that help us, and they give us good entertainment. And most of the Bollywood, the commercial aspect is focused on that. And previous times, the educational aspect was through these art movies, Satyajit Ray, and I've seen those movies. Very social message is strong, but the portrayal is so dull. Literally, no young man, somebody who wants some excitement, will want to watch it. The message is there, and then they started to understand that, hey, we need to combine both aspects. People need to be entertained, but entertainment doesn't mean that it is erosion of values. We can also combine both education and entertainment in both together. And wherever this has been done well, then we have seen maybe Tare Zameen Par or the recent Chichore. So whichever movies that come with the combination of both, they are very powerful. And but one aspect about, like, even when I give lectures, talks about Gita or anything, most people just remember the jokes or the stories without actually grabbing the lesson. And that's what happens with most people that do watch this good movies, that there is a message, but that message may be appreciated, but it's not really pondered upon or applied. So the sessions that I want to do today in this real to real wisdom is to extract those aspects of education and evolution and expression that we might have missed as we have watched either a Hollywood or a Bollywood or a Tollywood. And there is also a negative side to it, which I would like to clarify, that It's not that nothing in this world is totally good or totally bad, and same comes with movies, and especially those that are involved. What is their motivation? So one of the main things that attracts people is violence. That people become really alarmed, they become fascinated, and violence is a very big factor, and it has given people ideas how to steal from banks. It has given people idea how to kill different ways. So it has caused also a lot of violence in society, because people learn from the movies, and then they try to. I remember in my childhood I used to watch some hero fight with the villain, and I used to come home and beat up my brother. And so it's just an imitation or an idea that is conveyed, and when the understanding or the motivation is not proper, if it's just to attract masses for financial sake, then movies can cause trouble. And also personalities that are not really worthy to be followed, movies about them are made, showing that how they were good people. Obviously no human is totally bad or totally good, but then if when some people that were not supposed to, not the role models for society, are portrayed and are painted with good values, then people start to follow them. People start to think, hey, I think Ravana was not bad, or I think this guy Hitler may not be bad, or Harshad Mehta may not be bad, or maybe Sanjay Dutt may not be bad. I'm not saying either he's bad or good, but sometimes non-ideal behaviors are encouraged through the movies, and almost all fashion that comes out in the world is through the movie industry. That the kind of clothes that people wear, the kind of language that is used, people start to use, and that's where a lot of adultery and vulgarity is portrayed, especially in Indian film industry, also in Hollywood, some movies. But usually there is a category of the movies in the Hollywood that portrays this, but in Indian movies, many a times it's just like in almost everything there has to be this kind of over sexual impulses encouraged, and that's often something that reason why those who are aspiring for spiritual evolution, for evolution of values, are discouraged, because these things take over the mind much more easily. It's much easier to take on bad habits than to take up good habits,
It normally,
and that's why it's always not we cannot just go scot free into this kind of venture, because just because they are good. Because there is a lot of adultery and vulgarity that is shown, wrong messages that are shown, and as they may also, if they are not really good enough, they may actually waste time. And I know there are some that are just movie addicts, especially in the south. Any movie that comes out becomes it makes its money, because people are they just want to forget their reality, watching something good. And if that's the mindset, that like an ostrich, that I want to forget the reality, and therefore I want to just be in the virtual world constantly, then the movie this whole aspect is something that is not proper. So we need to consider both the positive and the negative, and then accordingly take our decisions in which kind of what where do you really want to go. And this introspection is a constant thing, especially now with videos that just pop up on your Facebook timeline or anywhere, Instagram. We have to be careful that what's the direction of my life, because as I said, life is an interactive movie. At every moment you have a choice which direction you want to take, and if something is helping you, take it. But if but you kind of sense something is not going to help, better restrain from it.
yeah. No, that makes so much sense. It's like a disclaimer that this is what uh you know movies, and how we should not be complete fanatics about anything in life. And like you said, like how it silences the police. I'm a criminal lawyer, so I get a lot of cases where people have actually been influenced to kill people because they saw it in a movie and this is the way they've done it, actually quoting the movie, actually quoting the word. So definitely, it's as a society, we have to be more mindful and more conscious of what we put out there. But we also can learn from it as well. We can take a good aspect. And I'm personally really looking forward to this journey. And for those of you, I don't know if you've really noticed here, but this is going to be a bi-weekly session with Kavita going to be having with Prabhuji. So today we haven't really gone into any specific movie or anything, any specific aspect of any movie, but that's what we plan to do. That every week we will go, not every week, every session rather, we will be going into one movie and particular discuss and Prabhuji really hopes when I spoke to him before that it's an interactive session, not only with the host but with everyone who are watching. So please comment, please give your inputs because without it's like I said, it's like a virtual movie club. There has to be a group effort that we have to bring on. And so for the movie, there be anything else that you would like to add? Can you hear me?
So I can hear some of the voice was breaking. I don't know if it's for everyone or it's for me. The
I
voice was breaking.
I don't know. Can everyone hear me properly?
Can someone on Zoom verify was
We could
voice
hear
breaking?
Pavani. We could hear Pavani.
Okay, okay. So maybe it's on from my side. So just to give a taster, uh, I just selected from the first movie that inspired me, just few quotes that that really started to make me think. So let me put them out here. So this is a scene in Matrix where Morpheus offers, just like an interactive movie, two choices: to take the blue pill, and the story ends. So the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. That this the world that he was living is real, or he takes the red pill, and then he comes with Morpheus. And this kind of choice, that the choice is upon us when it was like kind of portrayed, and that really made sense to me, that as it's us who are the choice makers, and we do get opportunities in our life to make the choice in terms of our thoughts, in terms of our acts, in terms of our words, and based on that our life's trajectory is decided. And there's another dialogue in the movie where Morpheus is telling Neo, who is so accustomed to the whole to the whole material, that Matrix world, that simulated world. He says that you have to let it all go, Neo. Fear, doubt, disbelief, free your mind. And me being a student of quantum physics, there's always a quote that is put up by Einstein that used to say that if you believe in common sense, or if you believe what people say, then you will never be able to think broader. And many times we just start to, we make our mind a democratic place, that okay, whoever is the majority, that's the opinion that I take, instead of really being a thinker. And so dialogues like this, that you have to really free your mind from your assumptions, and unless we test our mind to really break through, that is it my perception about this person, or is it the way the reality is. And if we just start to take our mind's perception as reality, then we become a slave of it. We start to justify our perception as the truth. But rather when we become free from our mind's perceptions, then we can properly analyze, is it me that is just because he hurt me, therefore there is this vengeance upon me, or is there something that is really wrong with that person. And so the last one, so Morpheus is trying to explain that the matrix is everywhere, it's all around us, even now in this very room. And when I was obviously when I heard this, it didn't make sense, but when I connected it to the Gita, so the matrix is the interweb of the three modes, the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, the mode of ignorance, how it just consumes our entire existence in terms of time, and that's what this is talking about. But when I just read this or heard this, it was just something like unique, but it didn't really make connect to my life. So that's why I like this particular passage also. Even now in this very room, you can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth, that you are a slave like everyone else. You are born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch, a prison for your mind. And none of us want to be really a slave. And so when movies start to go in this direction of trying to start to make us thoughtful about the decisions that I am taking, the perceptions that I am having about the world, then they are very helpful. You start to evolve. But when movies just about entertainment, just about the erosion of values, then that's where the wrong side of the movies is. So just a taster, something. I just maybe we'll actually take up some clips, but I would like to have feedback from the audience, from the people that are watching this, that what movies would you like to put on the table, and let's open them up and see what's what, and learn from them for making this real into a real wisdom.
Yeah, I think everyone is, I mean, on Zoom at least, people are commenting what beautiful insights, and people are really loving it. And somebody has said, what what people are just going loving what you have said, Prabhuji, today. And I think you've just given us the trailer, the movie is yet to come. So we can't wait, and we definitely will, take people's suggestions and everyone watching suggestions, and then maybe after collecting everyone's
By the way, this is a,
sorry. So maybe after taking everyone's messages and their suggestions, we can decide which movie we can do for the next session, because the movie is going to be on the 30th of December. The details will follow. So, Prabji, sorry, you were saying something.
I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
So you were saying something, Prabhuji?
I was saying that this is a whole book that's written about real to real uh, uh, by a Christian pastor who does this about almost many movies in Hollywood. In fact, they have a whole team that makes movies to explain Christianity. There is one called as there is no God. There is that Soul Surfer. There is the silent warrior. So there are many that explain the concept, the spiritual principles through this. And also there is research done by different universities. Like there is one university called as MIT University is a famous in Dubai. They did this whole research on social impact of movies, uh, and there's starting from 1937, there have been different movies that like Raja Harishchandra way back in 1930s that talked about equality of caste, and later the this movie Mother India that talked about how even women are capable to protect, and they can nourish their children. They are not just helpless people. and many movies like this have really influenced, and there is research also done in the business side of what clicks actually in the movies. And there are different personality types. There is the enneagram model of different psychologists, and they make an algorithm for what kind of movie will be successful when different personality types actually interact. And so usually some of the most best Hollywood movies are based on a deep science of psychology, and also about human issues. So it's not just somebody just writes a script out of nowhere. It's based on study and research about human psychology. So therefore, when we take it up, it just becomes easier for us to understand sometimes these abstract things. So that's the whole reason why we are taking this approach to understand life's principles, Gita's principles, taking some of the movies. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, and really looking forward to the next session and the many multiple sessions to come. And I hope everyone comments, suggests, and lets us know. You can DM us on Instagram, on Facebook, comment on YouTube, and let us know what direction you would like us to go in, because this is a movie club that we want to form, and correlated to spirituality and specifically the Gita. And obviously, like I said before, everyone's inputs and everyone must interact within this. So thank you all for coming and joining us. Thank you for taking your time and watching this. And thank you so much, Prabhuji, for taking us on this journey. And really looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure, and great that we started this in 2021.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.